I was able to go on a family trip with my son for under $400, even though we use food banks. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I do it and break it down with what activities we did and all the areas that we ended up saving money so that we could still have a fun and memorable time without breaking the bank.
We just made it to the airport and got in the bathroom, and my son is not having it. So it's gonna be interesting getting through security because I saw that it was a very long line. And I have so many bags. I have literally 5 bags to carry through security, plus the stroller. And we're gonna see how this goes.
For full transparency, my sister did Venmo me $200, so I only had to cover the remaining $181.80. And she was also very kind to send out her own husband to fly out to meet us at the airport, to fly with us back to Arizona, because we all know how it is traveling with little kids, especially when you're by yourself. It can be so challenging. And just for her to do that for me was an absolute godsend. And I'm so grateful that she was able to do this and make this trip happen for us. We've officially been in Arizona for 24 hours now. And I did do some shopping today because we are leaving for the cabin in a couple of days. And I ended up getting some snacks, some drinks. We only really needed to supply our own alcohol, any other beverages we wanted, like soda, snacks, candy. So I ended up spending a little over $30 at Walmart on a case of Barks root beer. And I only got a 12 pack because I found out that 3 of my sisters each got a case of 24 cans of Diet Coke. We're only there for like 5 days. I think that's a lot of soda, and I don't think we're gonna need more than that. So I got that. I also ended up getting a bag of peanut M&Ms. I also got a jug of lemon juice because I want to make French 75s. We still have alcohol from my wedding 2 years ago that needs to be used up. So I'm going to use that and then get some Prosecco at Total Wine tomorrow. And then I also ended up getting an 8-pack of High Noons, which these are objectively better than White Claws. It's actually real vodka, so if you're a vodka drinker, these are really, really good. They can be a little bit pricey, but Walmart had them kind of on sale, I think, than what they normally run for. So I got some of those. I did have to get an impromptu trip to the Minute Clinic at CVS because I had started getting ear pain in this ear this afternoon, and I was terrified of it turning into an ear infection. So I went in. It's not an ear infection, but the nurse was like, "You're having these symptoms way too long. I think you're having an issue with your sinuses. Let's just knock it out with some amoxicillin and like a prescription strength cough suppressant." So that's what I'm taking now. And this was $5.55, which, thanks to TRICARE, I either get jugs super cheap or free, which is really nice. And I also ended up going out to a conveyor belt sushi restaurant that's local here with my sisters, and I spent $22.69 plus tip, and I think that's actually pretty good for sushi, especially since you can try different types of sushi and price is per plate, and you only get 4 rolls at a time. So it's not like a typical standard roll of sushi, which is nice. So you can kind of like sample things. You don't have to be super hungry to feel like you're getting your money's worth out of it. But that's the damage that I've done today. Some of the stuff, like, I don't really want to count getting drugs as part of my budget because it was under $10 and it wasn't anticipated in terms of my actual vacation budget cost. But I am trying to keep this at least $50 for my food and drink because I want to spend the bulk of my money on passes for the state parks, if we want to rent kayaks or anything like that. I just don't know what to expect out there because we've never been. And that way I don't blow all of my budget on stuff that's most likely not going to get used up. We just got to Total Wine and we're trying to find some Prosecco, and hopefully they have different size bottles because I don't need that much and I don't want to like have to buy the typical size. So hopefully that all works out. It took me literally way too long to try to find the size Prosecco bottle I wanted, and it was on the bottom shelf on another section of the store.
My brother-in-law's AC is kind of acting up, and we ended up having to pull over to try to get it to work, and it's kind of working. But we ended up stopping, and I'm trying the Sprite like blueberry blast thing refresher. If you like blue raspberry candy, you would probably like this. It honestly just tastes like somewhat of like a melted frozen icy, and if that's your jam, then you would probably like this. Believe it or not, my brother-in-law just got done telling me that apparently ponderosa pine trees have scents unique to gender type. And so I have a tree right here, and I just smelled it, and the male species smell like butterscotch and the female smell like, was it vanilla? And it literally smells like butterscotch candy. I had no idea, and I thought that people would appreciate this fact about these trees. This tree smells like butterscotch.
Yummy, yummy.
And there's my sister, and that's my son.
Smells good.
Happy lung-iversary to Daddy. Happy lung-iversary to you.
Thank you. You don't have a match?
It says,
I want to blow out a candle with my own.
We just finished our first day here in Cholo, and luckily I did not spend any money today. We did go out antiquing, and we checked out 2 local shops here just to kind of see what they had, and they had a lot of cool stuff, but luckily nothing that I was super wanting to buy / needing. I am on the hunt right now to look for poppy plates, decorative plates, because I want to put those up on my walls, but I didn't see any flower plates that I really liked. There were a lot of good ones, just not what I'm specifically looking for. We also did get to see like a lot of cool vintage toys. There was also a lot of handy work from like embroidery and sewing, and it was just nice to kind of walk around and see what's there. But we primarily spent the bulk of our day here in the house. There is like a game room upstairs that has a pool table. There is a little like basketball like shootout game like you would see at an arcade, and a foosball table. So we have a lot of cool stuff here, which is nice that we can all just like hang at home and play upstairs. They also have like a beautiful backyard deck situation, and because we're up in the high desert, it does cool off at night, so we can sit outside and actually enjoy our time and not be roasting in the sun. But the cool thing that I really like about vacationing with my family is we're homebodies in general. We're very content to stay at home, and I grew up that way. So luckily we were taught early on how to entertain ourselves, how to, get along with each other. We're very close-knit as a family. Like all of my sisters and I were all friends. And so luckily, because we were raised with the figure out what to do at home, be creative, that we can go on vacations like this where we get to be in a new location, but we don't have to be out doing something every single day, and also like spending money on what we're doing for entertainment. And that's one, I guess, tip, or maybe it's like a way of thinking that I would encourage anyone out there that's really struggling with feeling happy and feeling grateful in their situation, even if it's not the most ideal. Because if you can learn how to be content with simple things in life, then you are already like halfway in the game of life, at least in my opinion. Because if you're able to understand that the bulk of marketing is just to sell you things that you don't need, you can easily talk yourself out of pretty much any purchase that is absolutely unnecessary or frivolous. This is the bathing suit that I got for this trip. I ended up getting it on Poshmark for $12. Luckily, it was like never used, and I really enjoy shopping secondhand online because you can find wonderful pieces like this. This came from a J. Crew spring collection back in 2024, and I fell in love with the design, and I was so tickled to be able to literally find it for under 20 bucks on Poshmark, and that is why I love shopping on Poshmark. I went to Goodwill and I got this book from Jan Brett. She has really great stories and illustrations in them. And this was $1.99.
I hope this shows that even with under $400, you can still have a memorable time with family. And for the final grand total that was spent was $324.99. And for 8 days of family fun, I couldn't be happier with that number.